What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and I'm going to say breaking. I mean, you can say breaking to a degree. It happened today. Everton are in advanced negotiations with Burnley for Dwight Mcneil, a player that has definitely got something. However, we didn't see it last season. So let's talk about him a little bit. Dwight Mcneil is a player that's very versatile, can play anywhere pretty much across the front. He's got a hell of a left foot. We saw that. He scored a screamer against Everton. I think it was at Goodison Park a couple of seasons ago when there was no fans in the stadium, etc. And, you know, getting down the line, beating people, delivering a cross. We'd seen that up until last season. So last season, Dwight Mcneil played a lot of football for Burnley and produced pretty much nothing. He created chances. He created 43 opportunities, which was higher than any other Everton player. However, no one was there to get on the end of it. Fair enough. Like, Burnley got relegated for probably that reason. But the thing that surprised me most was the fee. Everton we're talking about £10 million. Now, this isn't the first time that Everton have been linked with him. We've been linked with him probably for the best part of 2.5 years now, on and off. We were linked for 30 million, I think, a couple of seasons ago with Carlo Ancelotti. He's a player then that I would have had because I rated him. I saw a lot of potential in him. I think he was linked with clubs like Arsenal as well. I just don't feel like he's kicked on. £10 million is not a huge gamble, but it is a huge gamble when Everton haven't got loads of money to spend. Am I happy with the signing if it happens? I'm on the fence. I'm like a 5 out of 10. I would have preferred Maxwell Cornet instead of him. But again, there was this issue with the buyout clause. West Ham are now looking at they're going to trigger it. So it looks like it's Mcneil to be this winger Richarlison replacement. And I have concerns because we're replacing a player that was probably our most important last season in Richarlison, with a player that did very little in a team that really needed him last season and at times would have been saw as their talisman, and he didn't really do it. So I don't think Burnley are going to be too aggrieved at it either. So if you're telling me this kid is going to start every week, then yeah, I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit worried based on last season. If you'd have said 2 or 3 seasons ago, then yeah, I'd have been happy, but I am worried. Everton have also been linked today with the PSG midfielder Ladrissa Gana. Now, me and John had a conversation yesterday on the phone. We always do. We were talking, and I said to John, specifically said to John, I'd bring back Gana for a year. I'd ask him to do a job and see if he'd consider coming back to the club that he fell in love with. He fell in love with he was here for 3 or 4 years. He fell in love with Everton, and we as fans fell in love with him and wished him the best when he left. I think getting him back, probably a little bit more mobile. He's a little bit older, but he is more mobile. He's a decent ball-carrying midfielder and always has been. We saw him score goals against Real Madrid, so maybe he's added a little bit of that to his locker. But what he would have got is exposure to top European football, so he's going to have changed a little bit. I am absolutely not against this move at all, depending on the salary. If he's going to come in for roughly what he was on before, he could walk in open arms, because I still trust he's more than capable of doing the job. He's played with the best in the world at this point. He's ticked that box. Now, maybe he's happy to come back to Everton, guide us through what I suspect will be a tricky Premier League season, add that little bit of quality in midfield, and see it off maybe 18 months, maybe 2 years, whatever. But I am absolutely all for Gana coming back to Everton, because in a team with the midfield as poor as it is, you know, I make no bones about it. Every single midfielder in that team isn't good enough. And there's been close to £100 million spent on it. We need to get rid. We need, Gomez, it looks like he could be going out to, weirdly, Juventus. We've been linked with a teenager from Juventus, which I found was a bit odd. So it will be interesting to see how he fits. Do I think a 4-3-3 with a Gana, Alan and Decore work? No, because there's nobody who's going to be that creative spark in the middle of that. I think all of them are guilty of woeful passing at times, so that would concern me. But I think if you're talking about a Gana, even an Alan or a Decore, and then a more progressive midfielder in front of them, then yeah, I can take that. I'll be more than happy with that. It looks a little bit more solid, certainly from a defensive perspective as well. Gana used to be guilty of not quite tracking his man into the box, and I'm hoping that's something that he would have developed over time, especially playing in a very attacking side in PSG, where the reliance would be on him to win that ball deep and play it forward. So I'm hoping that may have changed in him. But all in all, if you were to say to me, yeah, Gana's coming back, I take it. I give that like an 8 out of 10. Like I am where we are right now. I take it all day long, but it only short term. You're not going to give this guy a 3 or 4 year deal. It's going to come in for a 1 year rolling contract. That would be my idea. 1 year with an extension of a second, something like that. And if you want to give him 90 grand a week or whatever, give it to him, because we've saved so much in the wages this summer. You probably have got that little bit of wiggle room. Be interesting to see what Mcneil's on. Obviously, we signed Ruben Vinagre yesterday, and he's on like 15 grand a week. So, although it sounds a lot to me and you, in footballer world, it's not. He's a very able defender for that sort of salary range. So, I'm not concerned on that front, in that sense. So we've just got to see. We've just got to see where we go, how we're getting on, and how we progress. We still need, in my opinion, a actual midfielder, like not a defensive one, not necessarily an attacking one, but a midfielder who is like an 8, like box to box. That's what we need, because Decore was that. Decore was brought in to be that, and at times last season he looked like he was going to be that, and his passing just lets him down over and over again, and you can't have that. Everton have been linked with Billy Gilmore and Ross Barkley. I suspect the Gana is the Gilmore. It'll be interesting to see who the Barkley is, because it could be Barkley. You know, you wouldn't surprise me if Frank wanted to sign Ross Barkley, albeit I don't want him. So, yeah, that's where we are, really. That's where we are. We are in a conundrum, but we are looking like we're doing things going forward. Am I happy? No, not necessarily, but we're doing things. Farhad Moshiri said at the start of this window, judge me at the end of it. Well, unless you bring in someone sensational, I am ready to judge. Everton were linked with Paqueta yesterday. There is no way Paqueta joins Everton over Arsenal. Look, Newcastle are ambitious. They've been linked with him as well. I think as of right now, and I hate to say it, I think Newcastle's probably a more attractive place to play than Everton. I don't see Paqueta happening. So yeah, it's weird, because all of the players we're being linked with are players that are known to the club or to members of the club. You know, Kevin Thirlwell, we've been linked with numerous Wolves players. Adama Traore, we've been linked with. We were linked with Neto. We've been linked with. We signed Vinagre. You know, in terms of James Tarkowski, Michael Keane knew him really well, and I don't necessarily think we're best friends, but they were really close. And there was a few Everton players that knew Tarkowski. And then you've got a potential return for Gana Gueye, again, an Everton player that he still wouldn't surprise me if some of the squad still text and keep hold of, because he was so warmly received. Interesting. But we digress, we keep going. And we'll see what we've got for the end of the season. There will be a match preview for the Kiev game tomorrow. I will be at the game, so make sure you come and say hello if you see me. And apart from that, guys, that is it. Peace.